Chapter 12, page number 223. We are starting with the Champaran Satyagraha 1917. Gandhi's first greatest experiment in Satyagraha came in 1917 in Champaran, a district in Bihar. The peasantry on the indigo plantations in the district was excessively oppressed by the European planters. They were compelled to grow indigo on at least 3 out of 20th of their land and to sell it on the prices fixed by the planters. Similar conditions had prevailed earlier in Bengal, but as a result of major uprising during 1859 to 61, the peasants there had won their freedom from the indigo planters. Having heard of Gandhi's campaigns in South Africa, several peasants of Champaran invited him to come and help them. Accompanied by Babu Rajendra Prasad, Mazar ul Haq, J.B. Kriplani, Narhari Parekh, and Mahadev Desai, Gandhiji reached Champaran in 1917 and began to conduct a detailed inquiry into the condition of the peasantry. The infuriated district officials ordered him to leave Champaran, but he defied the order and was willing to face trial and imprisonment. This forced the government to cancel its earlier order and to appoint a committee of inquiry on which Gandhiji served as a member. Ultimately, the disabilities from which the peasantry was suffering were reduced, and Gandhiji had won his first battle of civil disobedience in India. He had also a glimpse into the naked poverty in which the peasants of India lived. Ahmedabad mill strike. In 1918, Mahatma Gandhi intervened in a dispute between the workers and the mill owners of Ahmedabad. He advised the workers to go on strike and to demand a 35% increase in the wages. But he insisted that the workers should not use violence against the employers during the strike. He undertook a fast unto death to strengthen the workers' resolve to continue the strike. But this fast also put pressure on the mill owners, who relented on the fourth day and agreed to give the workers a 35% increase in their wages. In 1918, crops failed in Kheda district in Gujarat, but the government refused to remit land revenues and insisted on full collection. Gandhiji supported the peasants and advised them to withhold payment of revenue till their demand for remission was met. The struggle was withdrawn when it was learnt that the government had issued instructions that revenue should be recovered only from those peasants who could afford to pay. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was one of the many young persons who became Gandhiji's followers during the Kheda peasant struggle. These experiences brought Gandhiji in close contact with the masses, whose interest he actively espoused all his life. In fact, he was first Indian nationalist leader who identified his life and his manner of living with the life of the common people. In time, he became the symbol of poor India, nationalist India, and rebellious India. Three other causes were very dear to Gandhiji's heart. The first was Hindu-Muslim unity, the second the fight against untouchability, and the third the raising of the social status of women in the country. He once summed up his aims as follows: I shall work for an India in which the poorest shall feel that it is their country, in whose making they have any effective voice, an India in which there shall be no high class or low class or people of people, an India in which all communities shall live in perfect harmony. There can be no room in such an India for the curse of untouchability. Women will enjoy the same rights as men. This is the India of my dreams. Though a devout Hindu, Gandhiji's cultural and religious outlook was universalist and not narrow. Indian culture, he wrote, is neither Hindu or Islamic nor any other holy. It is a fusion of all. He wanted Indians to have deep roots in their own culture, but at the same time to acquire the best that other world cultures had to offer. He said, I want the culture of all lands to be blown about my house as freely as possible. But I refuse to be blown off my feet by any. I refuse to live in other people's houses as an interloper, a beggar, or a slave. Satyagraha against the Rowlatt Act. Along with other nationalists, Gandhiji was also aroused by the Rowlatt Act. In February 1919, he founded the Satyagraha Sabha, whose members took a pledge to disobey the act and thus to court arrest and imprisonment. Here was a new method of struggle. The nationalist movement, whether under moderate or extremist leadership, had here to confined its struggle into agitation. Big meetings and demonstrations, refusal to cooperate with the government, boycott of foreign cloth and schools, or individual acts of terrorism were the only forms of political work known to the nationalists. Satyagraha immediately raised the movement to a new higher level. Nationalists could now act instead of merely agitating and giving only verbal expression to their dissatisfaction and anger. It was moreover to rely increasingly on the political support of the peasants, artisans, and urban poor. Gandhiji asked the nationalist workers to go to the villages. This is where India lives, he said. He increasingly turned the face of nationalism towards the common man, and the symbol of this transformation was to be khadi, or hand spun and hand woven cloth, which soon became the uniform of the nationalists. He spun daily to emphasize the dignity of labor and the value of self reliance. India's salvation would come, he said, when the masses were weakened from their sleep and became active in politics. And the people responded magnificently to Gandhi's call. March and April 1919 witnessed a remarkable political awakening in India. Almost an entire country came to life. There were hartals, strikes, processions, and demonstrations. The slogans of Hindu Muslim unity filled the air. The entire country was electrified. The Indian people were no longer willing to submit to the degradation of foreign rule. Thank you everyone for listening to the video. We will continue with Jallianwala Bagh massacre in the next video. Till then, stay tuned. All the best for exams and do share the subscribe the channel. All the best everyone.